Jonathan Harmon.
Oh,
less is more.
Less is more.
The less is more intro. Yeah, man.
This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon.
No, really. This week in real
Okay. Yeah, we're live.
No, I'll let it say it again.
That's right.
Bunch of clowns up in here. I'll tell you what. Well, we're getting there. Yeah. Right now we're clowns. So, hey everybody, this is Jonathan Harmon with J Harmon Home Team, Keller Williams, and we are here at Spread Deposit Studios. My clown friend Trent Denson over there,
Yes, sir.
pushing the buttons and letting the brief intro loop.
Yep.
So, in case you missed it the first time,
You got it the second time. Yeah.
You're here to serve. So we're gonna get to Miss Erin here in just a minute, but before we do that, we do want to hear from our buddy Bryan Nale at Primis Mortgage. Bryan is my guy. Oh, were you starting?
No, you're good.
Good. Bryan is my guy in the mortgage business, and I know Erin uses Belinda, so they same team, same principles, same ethics, same products, same company, and they just do a phenomenal job. And you had just said, if I tell somebody Belinda's doing the loan, most people are like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Same way about Bryan. So
Yeah.
anyway, let's hear from Bryan as he loves to help spread the positive.
Hey, my name is Bryan Nale. I'm a mortgage loan officer with Primis Bank Mortgage, and I want to tell you that I absolutely love being a member of the Spread the Positive Network. It's such a great mission, and it helps bring so much positivity to our community. It's a true pleasure to be part of. There are a lot of ways to navigate financing a home, and in markets like this, having the advice of a trusted local professional is key to making sure you get the right advice for your specific circumstances. Whether you're interested in the purchase of a new home, second home, or have a need for a refinance, I'd love to earn your trust. If I can help you nail your mortgage, call me at 615-243-3976 or visit nailyourmortgage.com, and I'll be happy to talk with you.
Primis Mortgage is a subsidiary of Primis Bank, a member FDIC, equal housing opportunity. As always, all loans are subject to approval. Primis Mortgage, NMLS number 1894879.
Outstanding. Bryan, we love you, man. If you need some mortgage assistance, you need to definitely talk with our friend Bryan. And we'll throw Belinda in there as well, because we like her too.
Thank you. I love Belinda.
Yeah, she's good. She's good. So today we've got Miss Erin Kosko from Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates, and she said something to me just a few minutes ago, and she said, "You know, really, we're just a bunch of nobodies." And I said, "That's it, just a bunch of nobodies talking real estate." So that's
me.
that's fantastic. I love that. Thank you for that. I may actually put that in my email line. I don't know, in my email.
You're
signature.
welcome to it.
It's awesome. So, Erin, tell me a little bit about how you got started in real estate, when you got started. You know, just give us the primer of Erin Kosko in real estate.
People that, well, number one, let me apologize. I'm like nervous as all get out. So
I told her, she didn't even have to look how transparent she is. She didn't even have to admit that. You're going to do great.
I was like, if people watch this, they're going, what's wrong with you?
They say that about me every week.
Yeah. When I got in the business, I was a leasing consultant at an apartment complex, and a lady said, you'd make a good realtor. The market was bad back then.
This was in
she told me in 2009 or 10 about real estate. So during those 2 years, I slowly got my real estate license, and then I was licensed in 2011. Began at Keller Williams. Love Keller. I have nothing but wonderful things to say about Keller Williams. And
you said you started with Ann Hoke?
Ann Hoke.
Right?
Yeah, I have been trained by the best.
Yeah,
I will say that.
Legend here in Rutherford County.
Ann, Ryan, David, all of them, phenomenal. They taught me how to write a good contract. They taught me the verbiage. I mean, they are spot on. From there, I went to Team George Weeks. I was with George about 7.5 years.
Another legend in real estate.
Another legend. And so from there, from George, I branched out on my own and went to Exit. I started with Tabor Team, Chris Wilson. And then I was like, no, let's do this on your own, Erin. I mean, I essentially stayed on a team for 10.5 years, maybe 10 years of a team, never Erin. So this year is my first official year solo.
Nice.
So,
and I mean, quite a pedigree. Ann Hoke, George Weeks, Jeremy Tabor,
They're all phenomenal.
And Bob Lamb, in addition to that, you got some good folks leading you there.
Well, and I had great agents in my VIP, every year the realtors do the VIP. I listed, when you do the background, I listed like George and Glenda Victory, people, the legends, Courtney Yates, they are all legends. They're phenomenal people, and I respect them all. And I want to be the Marilyn Newsom. Like, I think that woman is phenomenal.
Oh man, I did a deal with her, and I was like, man, you're much better at this than I am. Like good. much better
and
at
she's
this.
She's so elegant.
She is.
So I love Marilyn. But when I started in the business, I full disclosure, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. I was a single mother with 2 boys and literally on the verge of food stamps. So I got married in that time, and my father-in-law said, hey, if you want to go into real estate, I was proud. So I didn't tell my mom and dad. I didn't tell them what I wanted. I just was wanted to do it on my own, kind of thing. So I put myself through real estate school, got married. And then, I knocked on doors. Like, I wish I looked like I did then, because I knocked on so many doors. I lost so much weight, and I knocked on doors in the snow, rain. The funniest story, that one of the girls, she's not in real estate anymore. The squirrel chased me down 5 or 6 houses. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I got close to the nest, but I remember running, and she would drive and I would knock, and then I would drive and she would knock. So we would take turns. And I was running. I said, help me. And she couldn't stop laughing. So the squirrel was like chirping and after
Sorry,
me.
I'm picturing this.
I was mortified.
Hilarious.
But and so then I did that. And I've always been a photographer. So Von Dotson, who's another mentor, he said, hey, Kosko, if you'll shoot a house for me, I'll tell everybody about you. If you suck, I won't, and Chris Wilson actually did the same thing.
If you suck, I'll still tell everybody about you.
I'll tell you
the other way.
The good stuff. So, but Von Dotson spread the word, and I started shooting houses 12 years ago as well. So at this point under my belt, I've shot thousands of houses, and I shoot for VIP magazine freelance. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I do their real estate feature every month.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I work all the time. I don't like sitting still.
Yes, I can relate to that. So Eric Lusk over there at VIP, Eric, if you're watching, I haven't decided if I love him or not, or like he's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. He's great.
Everybody there's been so good to me, and I haven't had anybody in the industry not be good, really. Everybody's been very helpful and just
you're nicer than me, because I've ruffled a few feathers here and there, but
I've got maybe a couple of people I wouldn't pee on if they were on fire, but for the most part I wish them well. So
yeah, just away from me, right? I wish you well over there. Yeah. Awesome. So you struck out on your own within the last year, which is always a scary thing to do. So congratulations on that. I honestly didn't know that. I've only ever seen your name.
Yeah.
Not necessarily associated to everybody else. So that's very interesting. What was the moment where you said, yeah, this is what I'm doing?
It was about real estate or going out on my own?
Going out on your own.
Well, it really and truly for me, it was a lot of different factors, but I just wanted to, I have nothing against teams. Teams are wonderful and they are very helpful. And if you're a new agent, I would encourage every new agent to go on a team to learn it the right way. Some years I sold 60 houses. Some I sold 40. Some I sold 30. It just depended, on the year. It depended on how tired I was, because I was also shooting houses.
Right.
But I always maintained, I don't want to be wrong. I think I maintained 48 houses a year for at least 7 years. But I know one year I did 60, and that was on a team. But nobody ever knew that. How many agents they'll school you. They look at Real Tracks or Home Snap, and it looks like you've never sold anything. And I was like, I never cared. I was like, I'm on a team. I do sell. I promise. I know what I'm doing. But I will say, going out on my own, I felt like a newborn baby all over again. I did not know how to put a listing in Real Tracks, things like that. Little things that the team does for you.
Sure. And you probably did some of your own marketing, but the team does some as
The
well.
team did, I went and did my own marketing.
Mhm.
I did my own, I do Commissions Inc., things like that. So it was all new, and it was me. So
Mhm.
it was all me. So I think my goal for 2022 was 24 houses. I think I sold a couple off market. So I think I hit 20, which I'm not complaining. For a solo agent, that's fine. And that was
Mhm.
fine with me because I still photographed houses too.
Mhm.
So I actually got to breathe a little bit this year because I've always been on 10 all the time. Always go, 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 go. I'm changing my oil in my car all the time. So I got to just be me, and be Erin and have an identity. Now, I mean, like I said, I like teams too. I have nothing against them. And I learned so much from the
Sure.
best.
Well, it's just different models,
Yeah.
and there's some benefit to a team. There's absolutely some benefit to doing your own thing as well.
And if I ever have to go back to a team, I'll do it.
Sure.
I'm not proud. I'll do what I have to. If I have to go work at Junior's grocery store, I will go work at Junior's. I love that place. So,
I do too.
yeah. So I've not, to make a living to stay above water, I'll do it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I won't do. So I student taught, I used to be a teacher, and I student taught one section of middle school, and I will not go teach middle school. No,
I come from teachers.
Oh, yeah.
I feel your pain.
I'll teach high school.
Yeah.
I might even teach elementary.
Yeah.
Middle.
Yeah.
Nope. They lose their minds.
Yeah.
Somewhere around 12. They regain it sort of around 15.
Yeah.
And that little window right there, I'm out.
My dad says boys, especially, he says they get stupid from the age, I think, of like 16 to like close to 30.
Thanks a lot, Dad.
Yeah. So it's like
16
they
to 30.
I think it was 30. I think he said 30. Maybe mid 20s, but they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, sometimes at 43, I still don't know what I'm doing.
I'm 45. I'm going to be a grandmother, and I still act like I'm 12. So
Yeah.
I eat like a bachelor. I live like a bachelor. So, yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So let's talk real estate. Like the nuts and bolts here. Lots of questions. There's a lot of folks out there that are hesitating. I saw the statistic for the month of October, for Rutherford County specifically. The quantity of closings was down from this October compared to last October, 29.3%, is how many fewer closings we've had during the month of October this year compared to last year. Price still seems to be relatively stable. From September to October to November, there's a little bit of a dip in overall pricing. A lot of that is impacted by townhouses and things like that because they're the first one. They're the most volatile, right? But there's also kind of a trend. There's a seasonal dip every single year anyway. We go crazy for March, April, May, June, and then we have kind of a little leveling off, in the fall, and we look at the overall gain, and that's exactly what has happened this year. We're tracking to grow by 14-15% this year. Price wise, we grew 31% last year. So price still good, right? We have not fallen off of a cliff. If you ask some people, they'll tell you, Chicken Little, right? The sky's falling. And that's just not the case. But yet we're down on number of closings, the volume, the quantity of closings. There's a lot of agents that are looking at this, and there's all kinds of different messages and spins on messages that are floating around. So all of that being said, that stage being set, what is your message that you're telling your book of business, your past clients, your current prospects? What are you telling them when they say, what in the world is going on in this market right now?
I tell them not to panic. I think the dip, and again, I do read the statistics. I do follow as best I can, but I still feel like we can sell houses. They need to be realistic. Number one, I have said to one of my sellers, I closed on their house in 4 days in this market. So, and it was, in Chapel Hill. I listed it and I said, pretend it's 2016 or 17. I said, that's what I want you to do. Don't come. I know her very well, so I can speak to her very freely. And I was like, don't come here thinking that you're going to get 2021 or early 2022 price and get a bidding war. It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to understand that this could sit. Luckily, I did sell it. It was a charming historical home. So it sold quickly. I think your unique homes will sell quicker.
They will.
But I have one seller that wants to list after Christmas. She was waiting on elections. Long story short, I feel good about 2023. I feel good about 2024. Agents like us, you know, I guess, would you say we're seasoned at this point?
Crusty, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes overcooked.
Yeah.
But you know, the newer agents that could, I love a new agent that comes in and has the great attitude. I don't like it if they think it's easy. So you're going to have to work harder. You're going to have to do what we did.
You're going to have to work.
Yeah, exactly. Like in 2011, I was don't make fun of me, but I painted my seller's house. I cleaned my seller's house.
Hey, if you want to swap war stories, I crawled in a crawl space one time and shoveled poop out of a crawl space because the sewer line broke 2 days before closing.
Yeah, but no, it's like.
So I think I got you beat on that one, Erin.
You did. That's a good one. But no.
It was not fun, by the way.
And I'm not cleaning my clients' houses this time. I'm not doing that again. But
done that too. Yeah.
I remember painting their house, and I asked my husband to help me, and I was still pretty new. And I said there was a showing, and I told the agent, I said, well, there's painters there. I didn't want to say, you know,
that it was you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, just please overlook that. And back then you couldn't, like I said, I had the house listed for $99,000, you know, back then. And my husband was, I had to step away for something. And told my husband, said, step out when they show it, then go back in. He goes, okay. Well, my husband goes, oh, she's brand new. She just got her license. I could have killed him. I was like, really? And of course she tried to school me after that, you know, but that listing I got in particular, that was in Evergreen Farms. The guy came in at Keller Williams. I was doing floor duty, and he said, who's your best agent? And I swallowed and I said, me, you know. And he goes, well, I'd like to talk to you about listing my house. So when I got off floor duty, I went to his house. I did the comps, I did everything. And he said, this is what I want to sell it for. And I told him, I said, you're not going to get that in this market. Well, I didn't hear from him for like 2 or 3 weeks. And he called me later. He said, you were the only agent that told me the truth. And he worked for AT&T. He still works with AT&T. He's climbed up, and I've sold him 3 more houses.
Nice.
So
just tell the truth.
But I painted his house. I cleaned his house. I did, you know, all the above, staged it, even though I'm not a stager. I photographed his house. I did, you know, and it turned into 3 more sales, 3 or 4. I can't remember how many, but several more sales, and still keeps in touch with me to this day. We keep in touch. So,
yeah. Well, and I think that's probably, it's always been the most important job that we do, which is to set realistic expectations, and to try to know, not necessarily exactly what's going to happen, but a range of things that could happen, and know that you have a plan. If this, then this. If this, then this. Well,
and I like the spread positive. That's the thing. You got to stay positive in this business. Real estate is a roller coaster. You hear that all the time. You hear that in real estate school. The word roller coaster comes around a lot. And I call real estate a lifetime movie. It's like a abusive partner, spouse, whatever.
And you keep
beats
going
the
back.
crap out of you, and you keep going back. You know, you go back and that's how I look at it. Because there are days that I will walk in my house, or used to walk to my previous team leader. George, I used to look at George and say, I quit. I'm done. I'm going to work at Walmart.
That's funny.
And he would, go back to work. You know, he would like,
are you done? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you'll be back tomorrow, you know?
So I started under Tom Andrews with Weichert, the Andrews Group, Weichert Realtors. And Tom is great. His favorite thing to say is, you know, when what hits the fan, and I walk in and my head, because I have no hair, and my ears always tell my truth. Okay. So when I'm fired up, it's red.
Yeah.
Like my skin is red. The tops of my ears are red. And I'd walk into the office and you go, you okay? And I'd say, oh yeah. Yeah. You know, obviously sarcastic. And he'd go, Jonathan, it's a ship. You're the captain of the ship. Steer the ship. And that was his thing, right? Yeah. Be the captain.
Yeah. I tell myself all the time to eat the frog.
Mm-hmm.
Just eat the frog.
Just gotta do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, but I stay positive. I have to stay positive. You cannot be negative in this business. You
Mhm.
have to. You can have your moment.
Oh, you can.
You can.
It's easy to
It
do.
will affect your business.
Yeah.
But like, have your moment. Have your pity party. Have your breakdown.
And then get over it.
Go away. Stop.
That's it.
Just. And I had to come apart this year. I
Mhm.
admit it. I hope it's okay that I say this, but I had to come apart. I have not had a deal fall apart in years.
Mhm.
And I had a closing the day before my people owed money to the IRS. It blew up. I mean, this was just a few months ago, blew up. And it affected 3 other families. These people were moving to Texas. Texas people were moving here. The Texas realtors are vile. They come after, like I was waiting for them to come and put a hitman on me because it was my deal that fell apart. And those Texas agents aren't playing. And
usually have guns.
Oh gosh. And I had, my phone blew up.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember I was watering, if anybody knows me, I have a garden and I have flowers and all that stuff. And I was watering in those long hoses, you know. I just took it and started hitting the side of the deck and I just water whatever. It was all over me. My husband was very calm and he walked up to me and he just said, "Here, let me have the hose. Here.
Quit abusing our lawn equipment.
I got to go buy a new hose now." And so I just went and took a nap.
Yeah.
So, but what I was more upset about was it was the day before and it affected families.
Right. And I think that's important too, is that when we start looking at what we do, there's a big transaction. There's a big business component to it, but it's one of the few business transactions of this size that is also the livelihood and the life of, you know, kids and parents and sometimes grandparents and you know, they've already had dreams about their kid bringing their first date here. They've already had, you know, dreams of that house providing the means for them to have a retirement.
Yeah.
All of that stuff's already happened.
Yeah. And
we get to be the ones that make that happen, that facilitate that happening.
Yeah.
And it's a big responsibility.
It is.
And so to have that kind of come apart, honestly, it makes sense.
Yeah, I did. I beat the crap out of that hose. It was bent. And I mean, I had water. It was, I was just like, you know, and my husband's like, "Give me the hose, give me the hose," you know? And I think it was such a high octane transaction anyway. Like it was so much, people don't know what the public really doesn't know what we're dealing with behind the scenes. Right. I think sometimes when you list, even a buying side, but especially listings, they think we put a sign in the yard, get some pictures, look cute, do a video, and be like, "Hey."
And unfortunately, sometimes that's all it takes.
Sometimes.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that occasionally, and depending on when you get that snapshot image of what it is, sometimes that really is the case.
Yeah.
Very often, though, there's
more to it.
A lot more.
They don't know what goes on behind. They don't know. And like I've had clients, I don't know if I'm sure you have, call 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, midnight, text, need to know now. I had a client.
Which, by the way, nothing actually happens in real estate at midnight.
Doesn't.
Nothing.
But I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, "I need an answer now. I can't sleep." That's what it is. I need her to assure me now, you know? And so I feel I empathize because I can understand. I don't deliver bad news at night. If I get the call from, say, a lender and said this isn't going to work, I'll call them the next morning. I do not call them at night. I want them to sleep. Or if there's an issue with the house or whatever, I wait till the next day. I like if it's like past 6 or 6:30, unless it's urgent, I don't bother it. If it can wait till the next day, I wait because I want them to have a restful night. So
well, it's easier to deal with bad news.
Yes.
That way. Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So aside from your come apart this year,
the only one I've had all year.
you're doing better than me then. I applaud that. That's fantastic.
Well, it's just, I paced myself this year.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah. Well, I could probably learn something from there. Okay. So staying positive, all of that. What is the actual message that you're telling folks? I know you said we're going to be okay. Like, how do you explain how we got where we are? How do you define the current market? You know, if I'm sitting here going, okay, look, you know, I bought a house 2 years ago. It was like this, the process went this way. I bought a house 2 years ago, but I also bought one 6 years ago. And here's how those compare. Where are we right now?
I hope I can answer this as best I can. I feel like it was sticker shock with interest rates. The interest rates went up.
Fast.
Really and truly, the interest rates are not bad.
No, historically.
They are not bad. They are not. The 2.8 was unreal, and don't get me wrong, I refinanced my house at 2.8, when it hit, I called Belinda.
Yeah.
And, but I think that people got really, what's it the saying, fat and happy, or spoiled, on the low interest rates. But if you think about it, houses, now you can negotiate. So what would you rather do? Have a higher interest rate and pay the house, like pay for the house, like negotiate price, get some closing costs, or do you want to pay $100?
Get stuff fixed in the house before you move in, right?
Or pay $50 to $100 over. Because like we were talking about before the podcast, before we started, you were both writing offers for way over and and having to be told to waive the inspections.
And you're guessing at that point, because it's essentially, I had Daryl Huffman on here. In a lot of ways, many deals were auctions, but they were sealed. Yeah. So you were shooting in the dark. You have no idea.
Yep. Exactly. And I did a lot of driving, one client we finally closed. I worked with her for 1.5 years before I got her in a house. And
how many offers what's your record for most offers written and rejected for one client?
Oh gosh. With her, I'm going to go with her, cause I feel like I wrote at least 2 offers a month. So, or more. So 1.5 years. So how many is that?
So you're 20
something offers, 24, 25, 26 offers.
Our record for the team was 13.
Yeah.
Number 14 was accepted.
Yeah. And then that's the thing. This is the funny part about hers. I was driving and she called me. We wrote the particular house for 30 over. Okay. Cash. And it was with Belinda, but she had money saved from, and
from looking for a year
probably,
and a half.
But anyway, she said, Erin, it appraised for, I think the house was $350. We wrote it for $380 to appraise for $400.
That's beautiful.
And I almost ran off the road. I went, I was like, oh, what? And I was like, oh my gosh. And so she didn't have to take out that cash.
That's awesome.
And so we were just beyond, so that was great. But I had been working with her for over 1 year. So. Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, there's a whole other podcast to go along with that about, when we look at how the, that activity, what I would laid out at the beginning, how it's dropped off from last year. Well, last year's actual transaction count was down from the October before because of exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly.
You write 14, 16, 20, whatever offers for someone. That's not normal. Yeah. It's just not.
No, we were not in normal market. Like going to show houses. One house I showed that was covered in dog urine that it sold for 50 over.
That's not normal.
Yeah.
That shouldn't ever be normal.
No. And excuse me, are these people regretting their decision now?
Well, but are they? Because here's the thing. If you bought a house in 2022 and you wrote out the rest of that 31% appreciation, you put some work into it. So that magnified that. This year, we're still appreciating 14 to 15%. Yeah. Right. You're actually doing okay.
Yeah. Murfreesboro, even in the down market, how many years ago has it been? 15? 14, 15?
9. It really leveled out around 11.
Yeah, it did. Murfreesboro didn't suffer as bad as most. Murfreesboro is a hot spot. And I
has been for a long time.
The funniest story I remember on Ann Hoke's team, David Hoke, God rest his soul. We were talking about Nashville. And we had these meetings, and I said, Nashville's going to be the next hit city. I said that in 2012. I remember saying it, and they all were like, okay, he goes, and he wrote it on the board, Nashville, it city, and what is Nashville now?
Oh, well, there was a whole article about, literally use that term. Did you write that article?
I did not write that article, but I'm telling you, I own the rights to that because I said it. And I wished I had taken a picture of him writing it. But that's when that show came out too. And they were so wrong on that show. Like they're little, like, you want to go Tootsie's for lunch? Nobody goes to Tootsie's for lunch. That's
no. Do they even have food? They might now. I don't know.
But what would they say? The Bluebird, they're going to do something at the Blue. It's like, what? You know, but anyway, long story short, I said, that's going to be the it place to be. People are going to be flocking to Nashville. And I was showing houses in East Nashville. Squatters ran out the back door.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some cash buyers that said, we want to buy a few East Nashville properties. And I'm like, okay, you know, and sure enough, they knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll never forget that. I spent a lot of time in Nashville.
Same.
I'm there a lot. And, you know, but I called it. I'm going to own that one. Somebody's got to give me that back.
That's funny. So what do you think is happening right now? From a psychological standpoint, groupthink in our market,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the activity level is down. Prices haven't really tapered off. You know, we've got a little bit of a dip right now in prices, like we were talking about. What the average person that's sitting around, they've been in their house now 3 to 5 years, because that's kind of the average about when they start to think about, am I moving, or, you know, should I stay or should I go? Right.
Yeah.
What's going on in their mind right now today, as we sit here, as they think about moving? Maybe their family got bigger, maybe their family got smaller, whatever. What are they thinking right now?
Okay. Again, I hope I answer this right. Right now,
There's no right or wrong answer.
Well, right now, I think people are in a holiday coma.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're waiting to see. I get more people saying, I'm waiting for the market to crash. And I always I don't say it too quickly, but I'm quick. I'm like, it's not going to crash. I don't think
waiting a long time.
You're going to be waiting for a while. It's not going to crash. It
will someday.
Someday, but this is a normal market. It's normalizing. We've talked about this. It's actually past due. It should have done this a few years ago.
100% believe that.
So it's normalizing. This market is what it's supposed to be, really. And people have got to get adjusted in their mindset to this interest rate. You know, I think it's came back down. It's down a little.
It did. Yeah. You're in the mid sixes right now.
Yeah. And that's still not a bad interest rate.
Historically, it's great.
Yes. So, I think they need to kind of wake up. And I'm not saying that in a negative connotation. We all need to wake up, you know, but like they're used to this 3% interest rate, 3.25, 3.75.
But they're only used to it because and
the media makes it seem normal.
It's recent.
Yeah.
It's beneficial.
Yes.
I mean, who wouldn't
want
to be used to that, right?
But I guess what I'm trying to say is, once people get used to it and they're like, okay, this is what it is. People still need to buy and sell.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to live in an apartment or a townhome forever. You want to move up, you know, from your starter home, you know, own up.
Or your kids moved out and you don't want to stay in a 35
house.
Exactly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, long story short, they just need to adjust to what's happening now and not pay attention to the noise outside of them. They need to listen to the experts, but there's a lot of noise. And I'm not talking about just other people, but like the media. I'm talking about friends of friends of friends. I sold mine for 50 over. Guess what? That's not going to happen. I mean, unless it's a unique home.
And just because you put up some wallpaper doesn't make your home unique.
Oh gosh. I think don't hold me to it, but I think STRs are right now still selling pretty quick. I think
short-term rental.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Short-term rentals. And because there's such Nashville's really strict about that, I think they're still selling with multiple offers, but I could be wrong. So don't quote me on that. Grant Hammond, do not quote me on that.
Grant, by the way, she mentioned Grant. Grant's going to be here January 9th at Cedar Glade. We're having a little what the heck is happening panel. Grant, I consider him one of the wisest agents on Facebook.
I do too.
So, and very eloquent about how he presents what's going on.
Yeah, I admire Grant. I like to see what he has to say. When the interest rates went up, I literally sought out his page to see if he had posted yet. I was like, where's Grant?
And I always just share his post because honestly, he says it better than I can.
He does. That's why I told you, are you going to Grant Hammond me? Because I'm not as eloquent as he is. If you start hitting me up with these big, long statements, I'm like,
Well, and he looks much better in a hat than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's awesome. People like him I look up to. I want to see what they got to say.
Sure. Yeah, same. So that being said, what do you think is going to happen in 2023? Full disclosure, if anybody says, I know what's going to happen in 2023, they're lying to you.
They're lying.
Yeah. Or they're incredibly arrogant. Nobody really knows, but we can have a pretty decent educated guess.
I'm going to say the market is going to be good.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with spread positive. I think we're still going to be selling houses, buying and selling. I don't foresee gloom and doom. I do not.
So what does gloom and doom look like to you?
All of us lining up at juniors to see if they're hiring. No, for me, gloom and doom is just, I'm going to go in my mind, gloom and doom is going to be 2009. Okay. That's how I look at it. And we're not anywhere close to that.
Sure.
So I feel like things are going to be more normal and you just got to readjust your mindset.
So give me some specifics. What does that mean to you?
Well, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, when I was on Ann's team, they talk about scripts and we would go over scripts and stuff. And I remember telling my sellers the average average house is on the market 48 to 56 or 58 days. This is what we do week 1, week 2, week 3. At this week, we need to talk about a price adjustment. Mm-hmm. We're kind of going a little bit back to that. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you're going to have to get out there and really work. It's not, what is it? What were they talking about? Somebody mentioned the fishing analogy where people, the last few years you're going fishing, all the fish are jumping in the boat. You don't have to, now you're going to have to just get out there and, I still feel like we're going to be fine. That's just me based on just, listening to forecasters. I don't watch the news. I watch the weather and then I turn it off. But
I use the weather app. WKRN has a great weather app.
Yeah, I'm doing that now. I'm doing, hey Siri, what's the 10-day forecast? Because I have to have the forecast because I shoot houses. So long story short, I hope that's a good answer, but I feel like we're going to be fine. We're just going to have to work harder. Like we already work hard. And even in a really plentiful market where you can list a house and have it sold in 5 minutes, you're still dealing with 48 to 50 offers that you've got to decipher and go through. There's still work involved in that.
Significant work.
Yes. I mean, the spreadsheets that I was putting together for each offer, things like that. So it really wasn't easy, but it wasn't as hard.
Well, it's just different.
It's
a different skill set.
But, I think we're going to be fine. I'm not worried. Mm-hmm. I'll put it to you that way. I'm personally not worried. You listen to Edsel Charles too, don't you?
A little bit. So I'll be honest, I'm a little bit worried. But what I'm worried about is more from a personal standpoint. I think there will be fewer transactions. And as of right now, there are significantly more bodies in our profession than there are transactions.
There are.
And so for those of us that have dedicated our lives to making this a career and supporting our families this way, there's a little bit of, all right, those of you that are dabbling, please
go
get out of the way.
If you're doing it to buy clothes and
you're currently in my way.
Get out of here, please. Because I have to make a living.
Yeah, you are currently in my way.
Yeah.
And I was here first. So
yeah, exactly. I will agree with you on that because we are oversaturated with realtors that want to do it for the Instagram likes or
they think it's easy.
They think it's easy and they want to go and buy pretties. I will say this is a whole nother podcast, so I won't get on a soapbox, but years ago at Keller, I don't know who the guy was that I went to see, but he talked about your paycheck and how to spread. Like I have 5 different savings accounts because I divide my commission check. I pay myself and then everything else gets divided out and I save. And Erin Kosko drives a CRV and it's paid for and it's just a basic car. But when I bought it, it was $22 to fill it up. Hondas, you can knock that thing all over the place and it still runs. I love it. Is it my dream car? No, I would love to have a hunter green, one of those army green 4Runners. That's what I want, but I'm not paying $100 to fill it up.
Right.
And I'm not knocking people that do.
That's good because I have a blue 4Runner sitting out there, but it's a 2011 and I've got almost 280,000 miles on it.
Well, I think mine is, I think mine's a little over 200,000, but my dream car would be a 4Runner. That's what I want. But the way I drive and shoot houses on top of that, it doesn't benefit me to have and keep filling it up. So, I would tell a new agent especially, but existing, don't go when you start in a hot market, don't go blowing your money.
And it's
Stick it
so
away.
easy to do.
And then open that IRA up and feed it. And I've got a great financial advisor that tells me how to plan for my retirement because
Right.
I don't have 401k. Do you have 401k?
No.
So
Roth IRA.
I have a Roth
And a SEP.
IRA. Yeah. So I would tell people save, because what goes up must come down.
And it always will.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. Last thoughts. We're gonna wrap up. You were all nervous. We're done.
I'm still nervous, and you probably heard my stomach growl because I was too nervous to eat breakfast. So I heard it.
That
And I
is
thought,
hilarious.
these microphones probably go like,
I didn't hear anything, so you're good. What any last things?
I just hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and just keep being positive. Like that's my personal word is grateful. So I'm grateful, and I will say it. I'm grateful for what God's given me. I probably, I was a single mother with 2 boys, and I didn't have any money. I was so broke, but I was also proud, and to not become a statistic. I'm very grateful for the blessings that I have.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I'm going to be a grandmother of a baby girl. I'm just saying.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Ahead of time. How long till that happens?
They're due in June.
Okay. You got some time then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
You're not going to have savings anymore.
No. Whatever she wants, she gets. This future baby, whatever she wants, she gets. That's
awesome.
Yep.
Erin Kosko, Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates, genuine, transparent, smart. If you're not going to pick me or Brad Hopkins, we said we'd throw Brad out there as well.
I want to throw Glenn Strode out
and
there
Glenn
too.
Strode.
We use Regal for him.
Yes, Glenn is quite regal.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to pick one of the 3 of us, pick Erin.
Yeah.
No,
I'm not worthy.
she's better looking than any of the 3 of us. So that
I don't
works
feel
out.
it.
But I'm talking about you, Brad. But anyway, so give her a shout. She's got a good perspective on how things are going. And other than that, Primis Mortgage over there, Belinda and Brian, of course. And if you're interested in helping spread the positive, Trent always wants to talk about what's going on and how you can help shed light on what's going right.
Can I throw in one person's name that I love in real estate? I'll have to throw out her name too. Is Amber Bridgier. Do you know her?
Yeah, I do know her.
She uses the term like, know, and trust.
Mm-hmm.
And she is the most positive person out. I mean, she's so just precious.
She is. I've done a couple of deals with her actually. And man, she's sharp. She's smart.
Mm-hmm. She still cleans their houses. Amber, I'm saying that to you.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Stop cleaning. But that's what keeps you real.
It does. Yeah.
So good job. Yeah. Amber's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else you got?
I'm good.
Trent, you got anything?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a fantastic rest of the week. We'll talk to you again real soon.